has been able to do.
Because there's weight restrictions, how do you lay out a game plan to make improvements without really adding muscle because of the weight restrictions?
Well, yeah, it just, at that point, it just becomes about detail, and you get really finite about, shoulder to tricep separation, symmetry, balance. Is my right bicep bigger than my left? Is my left quad bigger than my right? And the symmetry, just enhances. Because like you said, David, you can't put too much more size on, but you can a little bit. Like, I have to really work hard to come down to my weight class, which is 180. And I could just look at some pancakes and just sit around 210, But I mean, I think that's in progress. So from year to year to year to year, if you look at it and say, oh, I'm leaner at this weight, at the weight that I was last year, or at a higher weight than I was last year, then you put on some good, quality lean mass, right? And I think you can do that if the weight stays the same. Your weight can stay the same for 3, 4, 5 years. You're just gonna have to work that much harder to come down to the same weight, But imagine that look, right? That's what I'm expecting this year, to imagine that look. I'm gonna imagine it too. Yeah, you can put on more. You can put on more size. Now it can't be 5, 10 pounds of lean muscle. You can't do that anyway, guys. In in a year's time, it's impossible, right? Right, guys? Lean mass, 5, 10 pounds.
I went from 187 to 205.
Lean, pure lean rock mass, Dex. Okay, we obviously know that he's a lot different, right? Yeah, okay.
But I ain't done that since now. I can't do it now.
Can't do it now, but very tough, guys. Normally it's you just, 1 pound, 2 pounds a year, and it makes all the difference in the world, as far as what your physique is looking like. But yeah, we just get really, we fine tune everything, we always improving, and we just fine tune everything with balance and symmetry and flow, and that's how we go about it.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna throw this next question at you. Now, you competed late 90s into the 2000s, what many people consider to be the golden era of bodybuilding. Of course, every generation in bodybuilding considers their era to be the golden era. I think if you talk to the guys from the 70s, they'll say that. You talk to Gaspari and Lee Haney, they say the 80s were the golden era, but a lot of people talk about the 90s when you had guys like you, and Dexter was getting his start, Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, Ronnie Coleman competing. Talk a little bit about the physiques that you saw when you were competing in the 90s, in the early 2000s, versus the quality that we see today. Because, a lot of people, and I don't know if it's just, reminiscing or being nostalgic, keep going back and saying, oh, no, it was so much better back then, but we still have some great physiques on stage. From somebody who was competing in that era and now still very much involved in bodybuilding today, talk to us about the differences between the golden era, per se, and now.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, so to me, the golden era is the Lee Haney, and just before Lee, it was a little bit different mentality in the gym, a little bit different, thoughts that went into the diet and stuff like that. For myself, I feel like when I started bodybuilding, my first competition was 1985 in the teenage division, and everyone that I saw had striations in their quads, had the rock hard physiques from head to toe all around, and I felt like that was just a normal thing, just a normal thing to see major separation from head to toe, like an anatomy chart. That was the goal, or that was the the physique that I always aspired to have. So nowadays, if you see something that should be a normal look like that, then everyone's raving about it, which is I find pretty funny. Dexter was one that was highly separated. All these guys are highly separated bodybuilders, and that's why they have their strengths. You know, this man next to me, you could totally see every muscle in his body when he competes, and that's what I like about the classic division. That's what I like about, you know, picking these guys to come and display their physiques for you guys today. It's like all went into my thinking of who do I want to have. Dexter, we go back a long way. He totally is like my little brother in the sport. You know, he's just what bodybuilding should be about. Like I call him little baby Jordan all the time. I got like different names for Dexter at certain times, certain days of the week. But he's you know, like I say, he's you know, I feel like he's going to be one of the best to ever do it. I mean, he's won every competition on this earth. There's no show you haven't won, right? You didn't win a couple in Europe that I beat you in, but yeah. So I feel like the physiques nowadays, if you look across that lower back area, trademark areas like Dexter has, lower back, glutes. I always look for that to see how close Dexter is to being in his top shape. And you know, once those things are in, and once the judges see that, you know, they're just like myself, like, okay, Dexter's ready. You know, and they look to see, and then that's how he beats a lot of people. A lot of people don't have that same mentality when it comes to putting their physique together, when it comes to dieting and being like, okay, with this amount of diet or this amount of calories that I took for this competition, this is what the look I came up with. And I always felt that. I was like, man, if they had more expectations of what shape is, then that's gonna be the determining factor in which some of these guys are gonna, you know, make or break you and turning pro or not ever turning pro. Is have a higher expectation for yourself to achieve this anatomy chart. You want to look like a human anatomy chart when you go to compete. And I think that's a lot of people have just lower expectations of what shape is.
All right, I'm gonna bring the mic over here. No, you can just sit right there. We got enough cable here.
How you guys doing? Open up, no, all you guys. How important is feedback, and do you guys have like a backup plan?
Feedback, like, I'm sorry, like helping them out, or yeah, just
Like after you guys compete, like, you know, it's very important to get feedback. You know, I notice a lot of athletes don't get feedback from the judges. How important do you guys think is to have feedback?
What was it about feedback? Just like whether, how important feedback is. Just after the competition, you go to the judges and say, oh, this is for me.
Personally, I've never gone to a judge and asked him for his opinion, because each one of them have something different to say. You know what I'm saying? So I always believe in looking at photos, looking in the mirror, because I'm very hard on myself. When people say, you got one of the greatest physiques, I don't see that. I always can look in the mirror and say, I need to improve. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've never listened to anyone else. I've always compared pictures. And when I see I'm getting better by the pictures, that's when I know I'm getting better. I'm always gonna be in condition. So that's the main thing. Main thing is condition, condition, condition. And then we're gonna have to start getting that shape better and start, just like Breon said. Breon can be shredded all day, right? But he can look bigger. He can be the same weight, but he can be way fuller each year. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. Always look in the mirror and try to be better. And if you do listen to somebody, make sure it's someone that's gonna be 100 with you. Don't have nobody in your corner that won't tell you the truth. Always have somebody that's gonna keep it real with you.
I think I'm the same way as Dex personally, but I think it's also okay to, you know, ask the judges, but, you know, because they're judging you. They're the ones that make the decisions. But at the same time, you know, to piggyback on what Dex said, you know what kind of physique that you want to bring to the table, you know, in your thought process of what is perfection for you. you know, and you just always train to obtain that. And then you'll always be, you know, getting better and en route to get better. But you're your toughest critic. You know, look at yourself from head to toe, critique yourself, and the toughest that anybody, you know, more than anybody would, and then you'll be just fine. You know, as far as improvements, as far as the look that you definitely want to bring for yourself, and the look to definitely win, you know.
Yeah, I've never really asked, I should say I really never took at heart what the judges would tell me. I only do it sometimes if I thought maybe a judge didn't like me and I wanted to feel him out, and I would ask him what he thought of my physique, you know. But other than that, you know, a long time ago, one of my first couple shows, this one judge said, yeah, you know, you have everything it takes, but your lats are a little bit high, and that's just genetics, so, you know, you can't do much about that. Man, I got so mad. I trained the hell out of my back for years, and it's actually one of my best body parts, you know? And so, a lot of time then I hear so many things, it's ridiculous, it's crazy. Even from your hair, it's like, you know, it was distracting, you had all the gel in your hair, or this and that. I was thinking, what the heck are you talking about? You get some crazy stuff, so I'm like, okay, I'll just do it just to be polite, you know, but you really know, and I always try to wait a couple days afterwards. You know, I shut my mouth, I be gracious, you know, especially to the other athletes. I don't like my friends or anyone back there. I've just seen on so many things where, you know, someone wouldn't do as well, and then their friends come back and they just start talking crap about like the other athletes, and like, you know, the person's parents or their sisters or whatever sitting right there. It's like, really? It's just, it's terrible, you know? We're all family, that's the thing. We're all out here to improve each other, number one. And I've always been, you know, if we're backstage, but it might change it, like Dexter says, you know, if I could win $450,000, and, you know, I might not help the guy next to me quite as much. But coming up, you know, it's to me, it's building relationships, because I've been in the game for over 30 years, and I've always been gracious and nice, because I've always learned that this guy right here that might place last all the time, you give him a time day, you help him, you give him advice, 5 years later, he's only a supplement company that you want a contract from. You know what I mean? So you never know where people are going to end up in life, and you always want to try to help people. You know, that's one of the benefits. I really feel blessed being in like Gold's Venice since 1989. I feel like I'm the mayor sometimes, and I have so many connections and stuff. I love hooking people up. People sometimes say, why did you do that for this guy and this guy? Because if you help someone get in a better position, if they're not a good person, whatever, you know, that's on them. But if you help them get in a better position, then that position they're in, they can help you. You know, so I try to spread the love as much as possible. I'll give the guy oil if he needs oil that I'm competing against, whatever, you know, it doesn't bother me, because it really starts with yourself and just improve yourself. And that's what I want more to bring back in this classic division. And, you know, hopefully that really gains a lot of traction, just in the sport in general. You know, you just really support each other and help each other. You know, I would love to train with Breon for the Olympia, but I think I might distract him because I talk too much. You know, but stuff like that would be really cool, you know? So,
You can do it. If you don't talk, you can do it.
yeah,
We can do it.
I'll stay away from the legs part. I'll train legs on my own, so I won't be embarrassed.
I talk too.
Yeah, so that's really what, for me, it's about. You know, the judges and stuff, it's cool, they gotta do their job, but they're people, you know, and sometimes it's not even about the physique, it's about your presence. If you go out there, because we're all human beings, if you have really good energy and positive energy, you say, well, it was close between these two, but wow, look at that guy's presence, he's got something. And they'll sometimes you might not even be the better physique, and they'll pick you as winning. I've been surprised a couple times when I won. I was like, okay, it's cool. I'm not gonna say anything about it. You know, I was like, cool. Yeah. Kind of like when I won the first classic. I knew Breon was gonna come back and win it. I really did. I was like, ooh, I got that one. But this dude here, he's gonna get that next one.
He told me he did. He did tell me.
Yeah.
I wish I had to worry about getting judged on the gel in my hair. So, that's fine.
Another question for my man. You know, when you go to judges, sometimes the judge is gonna tell you, you know, some of the girls like, oh, I didn't like your lipstick, or I didn't like that color on you, or something like that. Some of the guys, you know, I think you get someone to be like, okay, you need more chest, you need a little bit more leg development, maybe your hamstring's a little weak, or something like that, and then you improve those things, and then you can't get mad if you get beat when you go to the stage again, because someone just better than you that day. So improve those things, but just like you say, like Dexter said, just always be like really objective and have someone in your corner that's gonna tell you the truth, you know, about how you're looking and like, man, you gotta change this to have a successful run, you know, so that's very important.
All right, thanks, man. Great question.
I suppose my question is pretty simple, kind of broad, but for each of you, really, on your road to pro, what is the one thing, maybe a phrase, a quote, a picture, or something, what is it that motivates you each day to get up and to keep pushing towards pro?
Me, I was afraid of not being successful, and I was afraid of putting it all out there and failing. So I didn't want to fail. So when I was younger, I'd go to Venice sometime, and sometimes I'd just like, okay, I'm going to save money if I sleep in my car, and I just eat more food, something like that, or just whatever it took. I didn't care how hard it was, the road was. I wrestled in high school and wrestled in college, and the workload in bodybuilding never fazed me at all. I don't mind posing for hours. I don't care what it takes, and that's what the people that I work with or had anything to do with, they can tell you, you know, I'm hard like that. Even if we go to, you know, I've helped and worked with most of these guys that you'll see around here in some capacity, and you know, that's just how it is. I think that's the best way to go about it, is to have a strong mindset about what you want to do and what's going to take, and don't back down from the hard work.
Yes, I would agree with that. I would just say, just my competitive nature and just wanting to be the best, very, very bad. It takes that type of person to, you know, succeed in this sport, because, you know, there's a lot of great physiques out there, and you just have to literally outwork everybody. But that's your mindset, right? There's a lot of, everybody works hard too. So you really don't know if you're outworking everybody, right? But you work absolutely to the bone as hard as you can, you know, along with your positive mindset, you know, take all of the, what was important for me also is what I noticed is that I made the decision to take trash out of my life. You know, in this sport, you can't have trash in your life and distractions and negative, you know, people and things around you to succeed. You have to be super ultra focused, you know, because of it's the grind of it, and it'll get too messy for you if you don't. So that's one aspect. Another aspect is I just picked, you know, my closest friends and family, and I said I want to look at them one day soon and say, hey guys, we did it. We turned pro. We did it. We won the Olympia, you know? And just imagine how great that would feel for you, and whoever it is for you. Yeah.
Well, for me, I think there's a numerous of things that keeps me motivated. The first thing would be is I hate to lose. I don't care what it is. If I'm playing it, if I'm betting it, whatever, I hate to lose. I don't care if I'm playing a little kid in Atari. I'm trying to win. That's my whole family. That's how my whole family is. And second, I think all the naysayers. I've been told all my life, I'm never gonna do this, I'm never gonna do that. So my thing was, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you I can. And that's always been my number one motto, is to show you better than I can tell you. So all the way from high school, my teacher said, you'll never be nothing in life. To my barber telling me the same thing. And I've heard it all over the magazines. Well, Dexter turned pro, people in the gym. Dexter turned pro, Well, he's too small. What's he gonna do now? I won 28 post shows. So it's always to shut your mouth when you say I can't do something. So those two things are what I've always lived by.
Yeah, it's for me. It's about motivating other people. You know, it sounds crazy, but I think it's just the jobs. I used to be a correction officer. I'm also a registered nurse. You know, I like helping people. I like bringing people up. So for me, it's about the respect to do something really great that you can inspire other people. You know, and I don't even necessarily like when Breon won. I was just as happy, pretty much almost for him. The way I saw his family and his mom and dad, and everyone was so happy. That was so cool. You know what I mean? I don't have to have that. As long as I'm respected and people feel I did well, you know, and I can still be an influence on people, that's really what it's about for me. And so if you feel that way, you know, you're always gonna have that good energy coming into you. And it's really hard these days because it's so competitive out there, you know, and you just try, you can't really, how would you say, you can't give someone water if there's nothing in your cup. So you have to achieve things, you know, so you get that notoriety and you get that attention and everything, and then you give it to people. I love the fans. I love doing stuff like this. You know, usually I charge way more, but Chris said, hey, you know, he's my boy, so I said, I love doing this, Chris, okay. What? No. We're gonna talk about that. I think it's sushi. I think you mentioned sushi or something like that. My wife deals with that, so I have no idea, Dex. So you gotta talk to her or whatever that was. Anyways, we're gonna change the subject.
My question relates to the burdens and roadblocks you've had in your path to this right now, you know, in your career. And I know a most severe roadblock in any sport would be injuries. So I wanted to ask, what are the most severe injuries each of you have ever had, and how have you persevered and got past that roadblock? And when that injury happened, what were the thoughts going through your mind, and how did you actually push past that and accomplish your goals?
And we'll start with Chris again.
I didn't really get hurt. I had minor stuff, nicks and stuff, like we all might have had in bodybuilding, because I was pretty smart about my technique and the way I went about my bodybuilding. Out of my control, I had a bacterial infection in my spine, and that paralyzed me. I was in the hospital for over 6 months, hospital care. And to get back to the stage, I just remember whilst I woke up out of a coma, out of like a month being in the hospital, and I freaked out. I thought I was still doing Olympia. People had to tell me, you know, Chris, you've been in here for over a month. I thought it was a couple days. And it was like, Chris, you can't even walk, you can't do Olympia. I thought I was still gonna prepare for the show, you know. So just going through all that stuff, the mind, I can't say what I was really thinking right now, but it was hard in my mind and everything, going through that and learning how to walk again and being able to just go to that step, to that crack, to that, on into walking and getting back to, then at that point, I just wanted to make it